The rain poured relentlessly, blurring the city lights into streaks of gold and silver. On a deserted highway at midnight, a battered old taxi rattled forward, its wipers struggling against the storm. Behind the wheel sat Ian, a poor driver in his late 20s, shoulders hunched, hands gripping tightly as if the steering wheel was the only anchor holding his life together. For him, every night was the same, a fight for survival, a chase for fares that barely put food on the table for his ailing mother and little sister. But tonight, destiny was about to steer him into a story he never imagined. Out of nowhere, a black luxury car swerved ahead of him, skidding violently before crashing against a divider. Sparks flew, glass shattered, and the screeching sound of metal twisted into the night. Ian slammed his brakes, heart pounding, and jumped out without thinking twice. He ran towards the wrecked car, rain drenching him to the bone. Inside, trapped and unconscious, was a young woman. Her face, pale under the flickering dashboard lights, looked angelic yet lifeless. Blood trickled from her forehead, and her breaths came shallow. The car's horn blared like a cry for help. "Stay with me!" Ian shouted as he pulled the door, his fingers tearing against the jagged edges of glass. After a struggle, he dragged her out just as the front hood began to smoke. She was slipping away, lips turning blue, pulse faint. Ian panicked, shaking her shoulders. "No, no, don't you dare give up." The only thing he remembered from a first aid poster at a bus stand was CPR. Desperate, trembling, he tilted her head back and pressed his lips against hers, breathing life into her. 1, 2, 3, he pushed on her chest, his heart racing faster than the storm around them. Then, a faint cough. She gasped, eyelids fluttering open. Her chest rose and fell again with a ragged breath. Relief washed over Ian like a flood, his own tears mixing with the rain. When she finally focused on him, confusion clouded her gaze. "Who are you?" she whispered weakly. "I'm nobody," Ian said breathlessly. "Just someone who couldn't let you die." He rushed her to the nearest hospital, not caring about the fuel he couldn't afford, not caring about the long hours he'd lose that night. When the doctors took her in, he sat outside the emergency ward, soaked, shivering, and praying like he never had before. Hours later, he prepared to leave quietly, but before he could step away, a man in a crisp suit blocked him. "You saved Miss Alina," the man said. "Do you even know who she is?" Ian shook his head, confused. "She's the daughter of Malik Ibrahim, the billionaire." The words hit him like thunder. A poor taxi driver had just saved the life of the heiress of one of the wealthiest families in the country. And he had kissed her, though for reasons that had nothing to do with desire. The boys stuttered apologies, backing away, before turning and bolting down the pier. Their retreat was met with the low growls of engines revving, as if the bikes themselves were warning them never to come back. Emily sat frozen, unable to believe what had just happened. The gray-bearded man knelt down so his eyes met hers. "You okay, sweetheart?" Her lips trembled. I think so." His gaze softened. "Don't let trash like that make you feel small. You came here to see the ocean, right? Well, you deserve to see it without fear." He nodded, and suddenly, the entire group of bikers began shifting. They formed a slow, steady escort, clearing a path. Families stepped aside, whispering in awe as Emily was rolled forward, protected, honored, like she was royalty. With each turn of her wheels, the shame that had crushed her minutes ago melted away, replaced by something else, something stronger. The pier stretched ahead, and for the first time, she didn't feel invisible. She felt seen. One biker, a tall woman with flames embroidered on her jacket, leaned down. "You know, I used to get picked on too. People don't understand what they fear. But let me tell you something, strength isn't about legs or fists. It's here." She tapped Emily's chest gently. "Don't ever forget that." Emily nodded, swallowing the lump in her throat. When they reached the railing at the very end of the pier, the bikers parked their Harleys in a wide semicircle around her. The ocean stretched endlessly before her, shimmering gold under the setting sun. It was breathtaking. For a moment, she closed her eyes, inhaled the salty air, and let the roar of waves and engines mix into one anthem of defiance and freedom. The gray-bearded man spoke again. Listen, life's gonna throw punks like that at you. People who think making others feel small makes them bigger. But you got something they'll never have. You got courage. And if anyone ever makes you forget that," he smiled, jerking a thumb over his shoulder. "Well, you've got a family now." The other bikers nodded, some raising their fists, others revving their engines in unison. The sound vibrated through Emily's chest like a heartbeat. Her eyes filled again, but this time with tears of gratitude. She whispered, "Thank you." The woman with the flame jacket grinned. "Next time, don't thank us. Roll forward proud. The world belongs to you too." As the sun dipped lower, casting fire across the waves, Emily felt something she hadn't felt in years: hope. She wasn't broken. She wasn't a burden. She was a warrior in her own way, and now she had proof that there was kindness, protection, and love in unexpected places. For the first time in years, Alina felt someone saw her not as an heiress, but as a person. She admired his honesty, his quiet strength. And somewhere between their conversations, their laughter, and their silences, an unspoken bond began to grow. But their world wasn't kind. The media twisted the story into scandal, mocking Ayan as a gold-digger driver who kissed into fortune. Malik Ibrahim tightened his grip on his daughter, threatening to send her abroad. Ayan became the target of harassment, passengers mocking him, friends warning him to stay away. One night, as he drove his cab alone, Ayan thought of giving up. "She belongs to a world I can't touch," he whispered to himself, his eyes stinging. But when he reached home, he found Alina waiting at his doorstep, drenched in the rain just like the night he first saved her. "I don't care about the world," she said, her voice trembling but resolute. "That night, you gave me breath. Since then, you've given me courage. If being with you means losing everything else, then I'll take that risk." For the first time, Ayan let himself believe. He took her hand, holding it as if it was the only real thing in his life. "Then we'll face it together." Their battle wasn't easy. Malik Ibrahim resisted, society whispered, and the odds stood against them. But Alina's determination broke through her father's iron will. She reminded him that love isn't bound by wealth, and gratitude isn't erased by status. Eventually, even Malik saw what he couldn't deny: the man who had risked his life for his daughter, who refused money for her sake, who stood by her even when the world turned cruel, was worthy of her trust. Months later, at a quiet ceremony far from flashing cameras, Alina and Ayan exchanged vows. Not as heiress and driver, but as two souls who had found each other against all odds. And every time they looked back at that stormy night, the night when a poor driver kissed a billionaire heiress to save her life, they knew it wasn't just a rescue. It was the beginning of a story that proved love, courage, and humanity can bridge the widest of worlds. Because sometimes, the richest hearts are found in the poorest places. And sometimes, one selfless act can change not just a life, but a destiny.